The pursuit of extraordinary productivity is often reduced to a numbers game: more hours, faster execution, tighter schedules. But those who achieve monumental results in compressed timeframes understand a deeper truth. Productivity isn't about doing more, but meaning more. It's a philosophy of ruthless prioritization, perceptual shifts, and designing environments where ordinary effort yields exponential returns. This approach transcends hustle culture. It's the art of bending time through deliberate practice, transforming days into crucibles where years of potential are distilled into tangible outcomes. At its core, this method begins with redefining time as a canvas, not a cage. Most people experience time linearly, as a river dragging them forward. But those who master condensed achievement treat time as a sculptor treats clay, a malleable medium shaped by intention. Consider an inventor who, facing a deadline, redesigned their schedule around zones of intensity, 90-minute blocks where they worked in complete isolation, followed by 30-minute intervals of sensory deprivation, lying in a dark room, eyes closed, no sound. This alternating rhythm, flooding the mind with focus, then starving it of stimuli, induced a state akin to hypnagogia, the twilight between wakefulness and sleep, where creativity spikes. In this state, breakthroughs that typically took months emerged in days. The practice lies in structuring time not by the clock, but by cognitive rhythm. A pivotal tactic in this regard is strategic neglect. High performers in condensed timeframes don't merely prioritize, they abandon. They operate from the premise that 99% of what seems urgent is irrelevant to their core mission. A journalist on an investigative sprint, for example, might disable all notifications, temporarily sever ties with family, and batch cook meals to eliminate decision fatigue. This isn't neglect of responsibility, but investment in a singularity of purpose. The key is predefining a destruction list, tasks, habits, or relationships to intentionally disregard for a fixed period. One CEO preparing for a product launch famously wore the same outfit daily, not to mimic icons, but to obliterate trivial choices. By treating neglected elements as collateral damage rather than moral failings, they freed mental bandwidth for what mattered. Productivity isn't just internal, it's engineered through external conditions. Isolate the variables that drain momentum and invert them. A writer aiming to draft a novel in a week converted their garage into a monk's cell. No windows, a single bulb, a desk facing a blank wall. Meals were slid under the door. Communication occurred via notepad. The barrenness wasn't punitive. It eliminated visual and cognitive handholds, forcing the mind inward. Similarly, a programmer developing a groundbreaking app used a dumb terminal, a computer stripped of internet, apps, and even a clock, reducing the machine to a pure tool. These environments aren't austere. They're optimized for inevitability. When distraction is impossible, progress becomes the path of least resistance. Circadian weaponization is another lever. The body's energy cycles are tidal, yet most fight them with caffeine and guilt. Those who achieve condensed mastery align tasks to biological peaks. A scientist researching sleep discovered their optimal cognitive window was 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. For a week, they structured their life around this genius trough, sleeping from 7 p.m. to 2:30 a.m., then working in the silent, pre-dawn hours. The result? A research paper drafted in 6 days that normally took 6 months. The practice requires mapping your ultradian rhythms through trial, tracking focus, creativity, and stamina for a week, then ruthlessly assigning high-leverage work to peak phases and relegating routine tasks to troughs or periods of low energy. Time becomes a multiplier when effort is chronobiologically timed. Most people plan optimistically, assuming smooth progress. Condensed achievers plan pessimistically, conducting a failure autopsy before beginning. A team aiming to prototype a medical device in 5 days started by listing every possible reason they might fail: supply delays, software crashes, creative disputes. Each risk was assigned a pre-written solution, a vendor on standby, offline backups, a mediator's contact. By front-loading worst-case scenarios, they transformed potential crises into scripted maneuvers. The practice involves dedicating 10% of your time frame to mapping and neutralizing risks, ensuring the remaining 90% flows unimpeded. Single-task immersion defies the cult of multitasking. The brain's true capacity lies in depth, not breadth. A sculptor aiming to complete a commission in a week divided each day into a single theme. Day 1, concept sketches. Day 2, clay roughing. Day 3, detailing, and so forth. No email, no calls, no deviations. Each day's monotasking created a snowball effect. Momentum from morning efforts compounded into afternoon breakthroughs. This mirrors the deep work principle, but intensifies it. Not hours, but days of undiluted focus. The mind, when freed from context switching, enters a state of flow where time distorts and output soars. Most goals are too abstract to fuel urgency. Condensed achievers break objectives into subtasks so small they're laughably achievable, yet designed to stack. A musician composing an album in a week set a rule: write 3 10-second melodies daily. By day 7, they had 21 fragments. Days 8 and 9 were spent combining and refining. The practice hinges on the completion effect. Each finished micro-task releases dopamine, fueling motivation for the next. Unlike grand gestures, these atomic wins build psychological momentum, turning procrastination into addiction. Selective oblivion protects focus. High performers in compressed cycles cultivate ignorance as a virtue. A lawyer preparing for a trial in 72 hours avoided all news, social feeds, and even weather reports. "I can't afford empathy for anything beyond this case," he explained. This wasn't heartlessness, but triage, temporarily walling off the world's noise to preserve emotional bandwidth. The practice involves declaring a bubble period, where external realities are acknowledged but not entertained. Colleagues are warned, auto-replies are set, and non-critical inputs are archived for later review. The mind, when insulated from peripheral crises, directs all resources to the mission. Condensed achievement isn't sustainable as a habit. It's a temporary metamorphosis. Those who succeed adopt a provisional identity, a character they inhabit for the sprint. A novelist writing a book in a week referred to themselves only by the protagonist's name during the process, dressing in their style and adopting their speech patterns. This wasn't play acting, but a psychological hack. Merging creator and creation collapses the distance between intention and action. The practice requires predefining a role and embodying it through rituals, specific clothing, vocabulary, even scent. Identity shapes behavior. When you become the project, effort transforms into expression. Underpinning these practices is a rejection of productivity as a metric. Condensed achievement is about legacy, creating something that outlasts the sprint. It's the understanding that time's value lies not in how much you fill it with, but what you imprint upon it. A week of relentless focus can birth ideas that ripple for decades, while a year of dithering leaves only dust. The danger lies in misinterpreting this intensity as a template for life. These sprints are punctuations, not sentences. Volcanic eruptions of purpose followed by seasons of restoration. They prove not that you should do more, but that you could reorient everything temporarily around what matters most. And so, achieving more in a week than others do in a year isn't about shortcuts. It's about designing a temporary reality where every element, time, space, identity, conspires to elevate effort into alchemy. It's a testament to the human capacity to reshape existence, not through magic, but through the audacity to demand more of a single moment than most dare ask of a lifetime.